There are many examples of characters that fit the hero's journey, some being Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, Bilbo Baggins, and many more. The hero's journey, which is a form of writing constructed by Joseph Campbell, is a very popular form of writing, and today I'm going to use it to break down Percy Jackson. Before I start breaking down the hero's journey for Percy Jackson, I have a few things to address. First of all, I got this video idea from Movie Flame, who did the same exact thing on Harry Potter. So if you're interested in seeing the hero's journey for Harry Potter, go check out Movie Flame's channel. I'm also going to be using clips from the movie to make this video more visually pleasing, but this video will be purely based on the books. I am also only going to be including the events from the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. Anyways, if you end up enjoying this video at any point, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel where you can see more content like this. Now, let's get into the life of Percy Jackson. Step 1 is the ordinary world. This is where the journey hasn't started yet and our hero doesn't know anything. This is their ordinary and mundane reality, and this allows us to see more about the character. In Percy Jackson, this applies to the beginning of The Lightning Thief, where we learn that he lives in Manhattan with his mom, Sally Jackson, and his mean stepdad, Gabe Ugliano, otherwise known as Smelly Gabe. We learn about how Percy is a troubled kid with ADHD and has dyslexia, and how he can't survive an entire school year without something going wrong and ending him up expelled. Step 2 is the call to adventure. The call to adventure is all about booting the hero out of their comfort zone. In this stage, they are generally confronted with a problem or challenge they can't ignore. In Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, this refers to when his teacher, Mrs. Dodds, attacks him at the museum by turning into a Fury, which is a vicious monster from Greek mythology. When she attacks him, she accuses him of something which we later find out is stealing the lightning bolt. Another example of this is when he sees the Fates snap the yarn and his friend Grover starts to act suspiciously weird. Step 3 is the refusal of the call. This is when the hero might first refuse the call to action because it's risky or there are perils. This is where they doubt they can do it or they don't want to do it. In Percy Jackson, the best example of this is when Grover is acting all weird and needs to tell him something, but instead of sticking with him, he ditches Grover. After he ditches Grover, he tries to live his life as normally as ever and ignores the recent events by not telling his mom. Step 4 is called meeting the mentor. This is where the hero decides to go on their adventure, but they're not quite ready. They are too inexperienced. The mentor is someone who helps the hero so that they don't make a total fool of themselves. The mentor provides them with practical training, profound wisdom, or something abstract like grit and self-confidence. In Percy Jackson, I'm going to say that this would be Chiron, but there are a few other people that could be counted as a mentor. Chiron, who is an old and wise centaur that has trained many heroes in the past, is the camp director at Camp Half-Blood. He works as a mentor for Percy as he guides him and gifts him the weapon Riptide. Other people who can work as this are Annabeth and Luke. Annabeth being the one who explained the Greek world to Percy, and Luke being the one who trained Percy in combat. Chiron, however, works as the main mentor figure throughout the entire series. Step 5 is called crossing the first threshold. Now the hero is ready and committed to the journey. This marks the end of the departure stage and is where the adventure really kicks into the next gear. From this point on, there is no turning back. In Percy Jackson, this is where he receives the prophecy and accepts it. This is where he decides to go on his quest. Step 6 is tests, allies, and enemies. This is where we step into the world. This is where we become familiar with everything and meet new characters. These all happen from the point Percy leaves for his quest to the last book in the series. Some of the tests he has to endure is saving his mother from the underworld and returning the lightning bolt to Zeus, saving his friend Grover and retrieving the golden fleece from Polyphemus' island to save camp, saving Annabeth and Artemis, stopping Luke's army from invading Camp Half-Blood through the labyrinth, and stopping Luke's ship, the Princess Andromeda. There are also a ton of smaller tests in between the ones I listed. Percy makes a lot of allies in the series consisting of Grover, Annabeth, Tyson, Chiron, Rachel, the Campers, the Hunters of Artemis, and many more. Percy also makes a fair few enemies throughout the series consisting of Luke, Kronos, Clarice, which is his bully, Medusa, Polyphemus, the Titans, some gods, and many Greek monsters. Step 7 is the approach to the Inmost cave. This isn't a physical cave. Instead, the Inmost cave refers to the most dangerous spot in the journey. Almost always, it is where the ultimate goal of the quest is located. In Percy Jackson, this is when the battle against Kronos and his army is coming near. Percy learns the prophecy. A half-blood of the eldest gods shall reach 16 against all odds, and see the world in endless sleep. The hero's soul, cursed blade shall reap. A single choice shall end his days. Olympus to preserve or raise. This is when Percy knows that the prophecy is about to come into play and he is about to turn 16, which is when the prophecy will take place. Step 8 is the Ordeal. This is where the protagonists must now confront their greatest fear. If they survive it, they will emerge transformed. In Percy Jackson, this is when Nico takes Percy to the river Styx in the underworld so he can swim across it and contain the Achilles heel. If he swam across the river, he would contain the Achilles heel, which would make him invulnerable, meaning he would be impossible to harm or damage. There was risk to this though. If Percy didn't make it to the other side of the river, he would die, and the swim across was already destined to cause him great pain. Step 9 is the reward. The reward is the object or knowledge that the hero has fought for throughout the entire journey to hold. This is when Percy has made it across the river Styx. He is alive and now contains the Achilles heel. He is extremely powerful and now invulnerable, except for a small spot on his back. This now means that he has the power to face Luke/Kronos. Step 10 is called the Road Back. The story's not over just yet, as this phase marks the beginning of Act 3. Now that he's seized the reward, the hero tries to return to the ordinary world, but more dangers inconveniently arise on the road back from the Inmost cave. This is when Percy leaves the underworld and returns to Manhattan, which is his home, and he finds that it is in a bad state. The entire city has been put to sleep, which is what the prophecy warns. The prophecy has officially started. Step 11 is the resurrection. Here's the true climax of the story, and this is where the dark side gets one last chance to triumph over the hero. This is when the Battle of Manhattan happens. It is the final battle of the series. This is where Luke/Kronos and Percy have their final showdown, and where Luke fulfills the prophecy by sacrificing himself to destroy Kronos. Step 12 is return with the Elixir. This is when the hero finally gets to return home and wins some sort of prize, but they don't always have to win some sort of prize. This is when Percy has finally completed the prophecy and has defeated Kronos for good. He can now return back to camp and lead on as normal of a life that any demigod could. He starts dating Annabeth and is now very happy. So that is going to conclude the hero's journey concerning Percy Jackson. He obviously has other journeys that he embarks on, but those don't concern him as the main hero. The point of this video was not to tell you the story of Percy Jackson, because I'm sure you already know that. The point was to break down the hero's journey with the story of Percy Jackson. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was very fun to make, but I put a lot of work into the creation of these videos, so if you did end up enjoying at any point, consider subscribing and leave a like. Also, don't forget to turn on post notifications so you are notified every time I upload. Make sure to subscribe to my vlog channel if you are interested in seeing more of my life, and stay tuned to see more videos like this on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.